Okay, here's my theory of the case. We got this evidence. See? Here, here, and here. It all connects. This is what I've been saying all along. We're this close to solving it. The facts have been in front of my face the whole time. And now I know where they're leading me. They're leading me. Where are the facts of the case leading me? What do I do with all this evidence? In today's lesson, we will first introduce what we mean when we say your body paragraphs should include evidence by explaining what evidence is. Then we'll explain why and how to use evidence to make a claim and not the other way around. Have your PDF out and ready for notes. First, evidence is any irrefutable information, something impossible to deny or disprove, that you are using to make your claim. Depending on what kind of essay you are writing, evidence could be a fact, a statistic, a quote from a person or a text, or a summary of what has happened in a reading. Evidence is anything that helps you make and support your claim. Here are a couple examples of evidence in action. The Ironman triathlon is one of the most grueling annual races in the world. Participants must complete a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2-mile run, all in less than 16 hours. This means that after a punishing swim, often in rough waters, and a lengthy bike ride, participants then must run an entire marathon. Because of the incredible demands of this athletic event, most people don't have the stamina or the mindset to complete this race. Take a look at this paragraph. What is the claim here? Yep, the claim is that the Ironman is the most grueling or difficult race in the world. In this paragraph, the writer is using the fact that participants swim, ride, and run all these miles as evidence to back up their claim. No one could dispute or argue with this fact. The writer then explains and analyzes this fact, then uses that fact, explanation, and analysis to make that claim that the Ironman triathlon is one of the most grueling annual races in the world. I want to show you what evidence can look like when you're writing about a text, either fiction or nonfiction. Take a look at the two examples on your screen. What is the claim, and what evidence is the writer using in each? How are these examples of evidence similar and different? Pause the video here and see what observations you can make. What did you notice? You probably identified that the claim introduced by the topic sentence is that Caliban, the monster, has actually suffered from the monstrous deeds done to him by the humans who have captured him. You probably saw that the first paragraph uses a direct quote from the text as evidence. The second paragraph uses a summary or paraphrasing as evidence. Which one is better evidence, you ask? They both work. As you can see, both the direct quote and the summary of the quote help the writer establish the same claim, as evidenced by the topic sentences and thesis statement that fit with both paragraphs. While both a direct quote and a summary or paraphrasing can work as evidence, you'll want to make an informed decision about which one to use. For example, using a direct quote might give you more to work with if you're looking to read and interpret imagery, figurative language, diction, or connotation. Using a summary might be better if you want to focus more on an overall idea or repeated event, maybe a pattern of something happening throughout a novel or a play. Let's move on to the second part of this lesson, using evidence to make a claim. In Unit 2, we introduce the idea of confirmation bias, the misuse of research to confirm what you already believe rather than to lead you to new understandings. One way to avoid confirmation bias is to collect your evidence first, before you decide what claim you're going to make. That way, you are making claims that are based on what you found out from reading, researching, or learning something new, instead of looking for evidence that might justify what you already thought. Here's where reading is actually a critical part of the writing process. Let's say your writing prompt is asking you to make a claim about the social status of knights during medieval times. Maybe the prompt is asking something like, what was the social status of knights during medieval times? How did the social status of knights reflect the values of a medieval European time and place? You may already have some idea about this topic, but as you read and research, you should be making notes of key details that can help you answer these questions. Let's imagine that as you're reading, you pull out the following pieces of evidence. Knights had to be born from noble parents. Before they became knights, they were known as squires. Squires carried swords blessed by Catholic clergymen. Knights were expected to fight with honor, professionalism, and chivalry. To be chivalrous meant protecting women, children, and other defenseless people. Knights were often rewarded with land or love for their battles. Based on this evidence, what is a claim you could make to answer the prompt? Pause this video and write an idea for a claim on your PDF. The PDF will have the prompt and these bullet points on it, so you'll have that to reference as you write. So, what did you write? Maybe it was something like, in medieval times, knights had a high social status. This reflected a culture that valued Catholicism, land ownership, and chivalry. Seems fair enough, but let's check our work. On your PDF, put a check mark next to the evidence that supports my claim. Put a question mark next to evidence that might not support the claim, and an X next to evidence that disproves the claim. Look at the claim that you came up with and see if the evidence does support it. If not, adjust your claim to reflect the evidence provided. When I went back and checked, it seemed like all of my evidence pointed toward my claim. This makes me feel like it's a pretty accurate claim based on my research. Woohoo! Today, we discussed what evidence is and how to use evidence to make a claim. In day 2 of this lesson, you'll learn how to merge evidence gracefully into your own writing. We call this integrating evidence. Then, during day 3 of this lesson, you'll practice making claims from given evidence and may even find your own evidence to answer a prompt of your choosing. Wherever your quest for evidence takes you, remember that we are right here with you. Right on.